when talking about jazz,
Mhm.
after how long did you start performing out, like after you left Starehe? Because at Starehe, that's where you mastered the saxophone, no?
I mastered the saxophone in Starehe.
Yeah.
Began to teach at a place called Real Music School immediately because I came from a poor background. You know how Starehe was, yeah?
Yeah.
So I needed to fend for my family. I'm the fifth in a family of 9. I educated all my family members from the firstborn to the lastborn. In fact, the lastborn left me just 4 years ago. Yeah, he's married with his kids and everything. I educated all of them because my parents couldn't. In fact, it delayed my university education. So I had to study through correspondence. I had to study at Cambridge University.
Yeah.
So right now I'm a Cambridge University music moderator. I mark music for Cambridge University. Yeah. I'm an academician. Yeah. Do you see? I taught at the Aga Khan Academy for 6 years after my qualification. I was music director there. I was teaching a theory of knowledge, critical thinking, and religious studies at the Aga Khan Academy. I resigned in 2006 to get into private business. So if you see, there's a blue car over there.
Yeah.
I bought that when I was a teacher at Aga Khan Academy. I bought it when it was new.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. The business acumen is what has helped me. Just investing the money I used to make as a teacher. Then after that, of course, I got into business, then joined my father-in-law in his large-scale businesses. That's, to me, I think, the biggest opening for me was when my father-in-law taught me about real estate. I was already a millionaire as a musician, but that guy just blew my mind, man. He introduced me into things I never knew existed. And then trusted me as well. And then because of my contribution, I became a shareholder in practically all his companies. And before he died, he said, look, can you take charge? Because you already know what to do. Take charge and run this thing and help my family to enjoy the wealth that I'm leaving. So that's my training. I'm trained as a music performer on the saxophone. I'm classically trained, classical music. I started playing jazz in 2005 when I was a teacher at Aga Khan Academy. So I started making money as a jazz performer, apart from growing my salary as a teacher at Aga Khan Academy. Then in 2006, when this jazz was now really growing and needed to travel, I couldn't sustain teaching, so I resigned. In 2006 to focus on jazz.
Performance.
To focus on. I was also running Jetha House of Music at the same time.
Oh, okay.
My wife actually is the one who runs the institution. So she was running Jetha House of Music. I was teaching at Aga Khan Academy. Then I was doing jazz. Those 3 things brought us tremendous success. So I resigned to focus on them. I was running the church Finger of God when I was a teacher at Aga Khan Academy. Finger of God was registered in 2017. 2007. That's when it was registered. That's when I started the ministry. It's been there for a long time. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's me.
Yeah. So which countries did you travel to, like, during that time? Because you're saying, like, you'd go to a place where a ticket is like $200.
That's a charge here.
Oh, that's here?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If I go abroad, come on, one performance of 3 songs is like 2 million Kenya shillings, man. I did a tour of South Africa, the provinces of South Africa, in something called Akumda, African Cultural Music and Dance. So it was me, Kayamba Africa, and a gentleman called, what was his name? Absalom somebody. He was an Afro kind of musician.
Yeah.
So we were the 3 groups that were selected by the Kenyan Ministry of Culture to represent Kenya. And we went there and made quite some serious money. And that's why we ended up meeting with Themba Mkhize, a great jazz pianist.
Yeah.
If you Google him, you'll find a great jazz pianist. We performed alongside Yuma Sekela. In fact, he actually hosted us in his house. Oh. Yeah. I was music director for Valerie Kimani. You know who a music director is?
Yeah.
The one who puts the whole thing together. And I traveled with her for Joy of Jazz, all over as her music director and also as a saxophonist and stuff like that. So she was one person I trained as well.
Yeah.
She was my vocal student, Valerie Kimani. I've trained very many people in this country. Yeah, so if we travel out of the country, it's big money.
Oh, okay.
If we perform here, it's normal. The 200, 20,000 shillings per ticket, 30,000 if we do a private, let's say, performance. If it's just a normal gig, the normal gigs pay much less. It depends on their budget. So if you're, for example, I performed at the Kempinski every Tuesday. Yeah. But there, because we were performing every Tuesday, so they were paying us $500 per performance. Yeah. Which is still quite fine per month. Not bad money at all for 4 musicians, a band of 4. When we do corporate gigs, we are engaged. Corporates love jazz. Yeah. In corporate, they'll pay you between 250,000 to 1.5 million, depending on their budget. So it just really depends on your agreement with them. Yeah, so that's how I've made my money. But now I'm in land.
Yeah, you're in land.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Land is slow, but when it produces revenue, it's huge.
Good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
But so you left Starehe in 94?
94.
And you said you started traveling with jazz and like pursuing that in 2005. That's 11 years later.
Yes.
So in between, you went to university. What did you do in between?
I started working before going to university.
Yeah.
I was the principal of Real Music School.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I ran Real Music School, later bought it and turned it to Jetha House of Music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was doing that straight after Starehe. Yeah, and then also raising funds to further my education because of that, Starehe, Dr. Griffin didn't like the fact that I was doing music.
Yeah.
So I couldn't have got the benefits of sponsorship to go and study in England. I especially wanted to study in England because of the classical approach to the music I was doing. I helped publish some books for KIE during that time, some music books, and then worked on my university education after I joined Aga Khan Academy.
Oh.
Yeah, in fact, Aga Khan was instrumental in taking me through professional development. Yeah, so I was teaching at Aga Khan Academy before I graduated.
Yeah. You said you left Aga Khan in
2006.
2006. Yeah. Okay. So by the time all these other scandals were happening, you didn't have any like employment that maybe your reputation would have been so damaged?
No, I was running my own businesses. So, but of course, the negative information people got affected my performances. It affected the jazz a little bit, just locally, not internationally. It didn't affect my teaching because my target market is not given to cheap gossip. There are people who've gone through difficulties as well. If you succeed in this life, people will fight you. I remember at that time, one of my clients was accused of dealing in guns as well. We were at DCI together, so we sat together and said, so what brings you here? Oh, they're accusing me of guns. I said, oh, I'm accused of that too. Guns and ivory and drugs and all manner of things. And he was one of our clients at Jetha House of Music. So people who do big businesses tend to get into trouble. You can imagine, wasn't our president indicted by ICC? If I were to do business with the president, for example, he wouldn't look at me thinking, oh, you are the guy who was once arrested. He was arrested too. Do you see? So this did not affect our target market. They are not given to negative media. These people do research. Yeah, it affected some, not all, some of the performances we used to do in some places. We started saying, oh, we don't want our brand institution or brand to be associated with you. And as soon as the matter was thrown out, we were back to business. Okay. Yeah.
And because you keep talking about the target market, so I must ask, how much are the classes at Jetha?
Oh, you pay 4,000 Kenyan shillings per hour.
Oh, okay.
Yes, 4,000 shillings per hour. You need about 5 hours a week. If you were to finish your syllabus. So you can imagine if you have, let's say roughly, by the time this thing was happening, we had about 200 students. The numbers are much higher now because we're also doing online lessons. So you can imagine if you handle 200 students a week and each one is paying you 4,000 shillings an hour.
And they're doing at least 5 hours a week.
Yeah. Even if they were to do an hour a week. Just do the math. That's why I told you I've made much more money as a teacher than as a performer. And I usually tell musicians that for you to survive in the music industry, especially here, do some teaching. Teach the guitar, teach that singing. You'll make much more money. And then when the big gigs come, that just becomes a bonus. But it's not that easy to sustain a career just as a performer in Nairobi. It's not that easy, especially after COVID and all that. These things are sporadic. They come in a big way and then there's a lull, then there's another one in a big way. So unless you're selling merchandise and you really understand social media, monetization and all that, performance is not something you can fully depend on just performing. Yeah, you can't fully depend on it. You have to do other things.
Oh, okay. And do you feel like Griffin had this thing where he used to say, like, if you have to do something, you have to do it perfectly, yeah?
I do my things perfectly. That's why we win. We even win internationally. Our students are the best in East Africa. In other words, Jetha House is the best in East Africa in terms of music education and music training. And you know, the king, before it was the Queen of England is the patron of our examining body. Yeah. Now it's the King of England. So it's a highly reputable system of music education. Yeah.
So what do you teach? It's playing instruments?
Everything's to do with music theory and all instruments. Drums, guitar, piano, flute, violin, saxophone, oboe, all the orchestral instruments, plus singing, plus music theory.
Yeah.
And of course, now we are doing performance as well. So we teach people to perform. All our students perform at least 3 or 4 times a year. we create a concert for them to help them understand the business of music. And then we do music recording. We record our students if they're interested, or any other person. I mentioned to you that our students are from kids to adults. We have adult students as well.
Okay.
As long as you want to play a musical instrument. And if you want to be certified, then we take you all the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And another thing that I have just noticed is when you talked about people who've been persecuted, you didn't mention the Kitawarambas and the... What do you think about that? Like the Pastor Mackenzies, because I think they're going through worse than you.
I don't think they're going through worse than me. I don't think so. Their matter was big for a few weeks.
Yeah.
My matter was big for 1.5 years. It would be the controversial jazz maestro, the leader of the cult, then President Mwai Kibaki, then Raila, in that order, in news, if you remember those days. It was much worse. Yeah. But I don't want to talk about who has suffered more than the other.
Yeah, okay. But okay, what's your opinion from the outside looking in? Are they being persecuted, or do you feel
my
like
opinion is this. I don't want to reach any conclusion about what's being investigated by our investigating arm of the CIDs. But I would say very quickly that our government has been shoddy in investigations. They rush to arrest, rush to charge, after which, even if a person is culpable, they end up being acquitted for lack of investigations. They need to do proper investigations first. And if it means detaining somebody, they should probably detain them. You can tell somebody to be reporting to the chief or to the CID headquarters every Friday or something. As you do your investigations, you don't arrest, like the way they did to Pastor Ezekiel and the like. You don't arrest, come up with a charge quickly.
Yeah.
Because you can't detain somebody for much longer than required by law. So you really have to charge them at some point. Why not do your 6 months investigation? The way all serious people do, unless you're politicizing the whole thing, or unless you have some bone to pick. After you have a watertight case against some, take them to court, and you'll find that person being jailed or being fined. In my case, if they just spend, let's just say 1 week investigating me, or let's say 3 months, investigating Quincy, Esther, the church, or businesses, we would never have been taken to court in the first place.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing to hide. See, a cult is a secret society. It's secret. There are secrets about it. Our things happened in the open. We never ran away from anybody. Even today, we still do our things in the open. People can question the things we do. The music I released in the open.
Yeah.
Okay? The problem with most people is that they don't understand music as a genre. They don't understand different genres. So if I get evaluated by or adjudicated by wannabes and those who are not music experts, I just laugh them to scorn. I just laugh them off.
Yeah.
It's like going to court and sitting in front of a person who's not a lawyer as a judge. If you go to court, you are judged by a lawyer. If it is music, we shall be judged by experts in that field. And because we know our target, the market we target likes that style. So you cannot tell me to stop doing business successfully just because my style, for example, jazz is not everybody's cup of tea. There are people who just don't like it. It doesn't make us fail in life. We target those who like jazz, and those who like jazz pay dearly for it. They pay a premium for it. Jazz is expensive. It's for the elite. Let me just make it plain. And I have no apologies targeting the elite because they're also people.
Yeah, and you don't need many clients, eh?
I don't need many clients. So if my show is attended by 20 people and each of them is paying 100,000 shillings, I'm good to go. Yeah? Do you see?
So you heard about like Sauti Sol have a concert that they're going to charge 20,000 shillings. You heard about the whole...
I found that so stupid. Let them charge even 50,000. Those guys are so good, man. Even 100,000, by the way, if Sauti Sol were to say, this is for the elite of the society. 100,000 shillings per ticket. That concert would still be successful. These people, Sauti Sol guys, started. I remember BN when I was doing Tasker Project Faith. I remember BN coming to help this Patricia Kihoro. But Patricia was singing their whatever. Nikupeleke Java, tunye kahawa.
That's easy. They cover.
That's easy, yes. So BN came to help her with that song because she wanted to do some of the things. I was helping her then, just before the fiasco of Finger of God. I was helping her with her album and the like. At that particular time. She was not part of the church though. It was just a Project Fame thing. So I saw BN those days. He didn't even have a car. He came walking with his guitar and he was there helping this girl. He's a good man. You know, he's got a good heart. And he just kept building this Sauti Sol thing together with his friends until it became the outfit it is today. We need to clap for those guys. Great job. So they deserve more expensive cover than 20K. So whoever is thinking that they are now becoming whatever, is it arrogant or what? Yeah, come on. If you can't afford it, just leave it.
Yeah.
Pay for what you can afford.
Yeah, I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
But hey, I have to say thank you for your time.
Most welcome.